It is the IF game for Nationwide Conference USSSA, and we are so glad that you're with us on USSSALive.com. Osceola County Stadium, Resmondo and Precision. Resmondo winner in the winner's bracket final. Resmondo comes back to take down Precision 26-15. You know, Matt Rear and company, they still have a chance to win this championship game. And the first pitch by Matt Rear is hit to right field, and Eisenhower grabs it. Very important for Precision. Obviously, the momentum has completely changed in this one, but we've seen these IF games really go both ways in the history, right?
Yeah, I think historically a lot of coaches will tell you you always want to be the undefeated team and only have to win one. But then the same coach will tell you, hey, if I'm playing the IF game, I would have rather been the team that had to. You like to get going, and pressure seems to flip to the team that only had to win one. So it's always kind of been a conversation that's gone on. But I always think the team that won the previous game kind of starts the game anyway with momentum.
Keith Lasky gets aboard with a single that'll bring Brett McCullum to the plate.
And the thing we know with Precision here is they need a hot start. That's how they won the game yesterday. Was they went out to that 7-2 lead early.
This one continues to carry, and it's going to get down. Lasky had to wait, and now he'll come in and hold at third.
And they did it even in the last game, Bernie, as we saw. They got that early lead, were able to hang around for a while, but couldn't capitalize on a couple of spots. It's definitely a situation they don't want to go real quiet here and let Resmondo come in and just free swing on them and put them in a bad spot early.
Precision, they had 2 home runs in the championship game, a home run by Stewart and a home run by Bergmeyer. This is Davis Biladello, the left fielder. Bouncer to Cannell. This is going to score the game's first run. Biladello can't dig it out. And Precision still with only 1 out.
And that's how Precision plays the game. They hustle, they knock it down, they do everything right, and hope that you make a couple of mistakes. And that's a perfect example here. Routine play, Connie makes it. Problem is, he makes a lackadaisical throw over there. Bubba normally picks those, but the fact is that from 45 feet away, it should have been in his back pocket, easy throw, and Connie will accept that one's all on him.
Kirkwood.
Andy.
Let's see if they can capitalize on it now. That's the breaks. Those are the kind of breaks that Precision needs, and now they got the break. What do they do with it? It's going to determine if they can hang around and shock everyone by winning this event.
Well, they've been on Sunday a number of times, Scoop, this year.
Yeah, no, they've like I said, they're clearly. Oh, nice play there.
Cannell over to DiDonatis. They get the out.
2, gentlemen.
And the second run comes in to score.
But there's one of those awful words that pitchers don't like to hear, unearned runs, that comes across there.
Despite the fact that it's slow pitch softball, runs are still sometimes at a premium with Andy Purcell.
In these stadiums, they definitely are, and especially with Andy on the mound. Both Andys, Andy Vitcac as well as Andy Purcell. Most definitely runs are at a premium here.
Precision, they're going to bat 10 here in the championship game. This is Kurt Stewart, the catcher. He's batting in the 6th hole.
I think that's a good move on their part to drop down to 10. One, it gives them an extra swing off the bench if they need it. And also, obviously, you start worrying in situations with the heat and so forth, cramping and so forth can come forward. The big man hustling again.
Gets a double, he's at second. How about the hustle there by Dan Kirkwood, trucking around the bags.
Like we saw Mr. Stewart get thrown out in the first game at third base, trying to go first to third on a play, but you can never doubt his hustle. That's what you like. He's a big guy. He hits it all over the park, but he also just always gives you that hustle. I think that feeds the teams when you see your big men out there doing that. Head first dives in the second. That really kind of drives the bench.
Precision, they scored 4 in the first. Well, there's a lot on the line here in this championship game. Smash It Sports,
All right, gentlemen, here we go.
The regular season champions, finishing ahead of Resmondo by 15 points. But the point totals from this nationwide conference USSSA championship game, they do count towards that overall picture. And so if Resmondo gets a win, they will be the #1 seed at the Men's Major World Series. If Precision gets a win, they'll be the #3 seed at the Men's Major World Series. And it all starts, obviously, on Wednesday down at Champion Stadium. And this is a Resmondo team that they're very used to being that #1 seed.
Yeah, I think 9 straight seasons they've been the #1 seed. So this is something that they covet and they understand. And Dennis really starts the fly ball out there, and this is an interesting Sunday for Dennis. Something, you know, this may be more outs this Sunday than Dennis has made in the last 20 Sundays. It's definitely not off to a start that he's used to.
There is the Triple Crown winner, the first in the history of Nationwide Conference USSSA, Greg Cannell. He finished with 133 home runs. That's the most ever in the history of this conference.
And we need to remind people that they play under a home run limit, so it's not like Connie's free swinging all the time.
Gets this one towards the gap, and Cannell is going to be the first base runner of the game for Resmondo. He's in at second with a double.
One, gentlemen.
Great swing right there. You can see he stepped back on that back leg, let it come to him. Hit a little bit more in the gap than he wanted to. If he gets a little quicker on that, it's probably up out of here. But real good swing by Connie. Yeah, we've talked about it all day, Bernie. You know, under the limited home run rules, you know, the restructuring. There's AP gonna miss one a little bit.
This play. I got it.
It's going to be caught to left field.
It's a good play by Davis out there. He thought he got it a little bit better. It's, you know, Andy with all that power, and then that ball just died at the end. He did a nice job of staying with it as it kind of knuckled down. You see here, he kind of gets it. He knows he knuckled it right now. Just missed it.
Pesky through you fast right now.
Nice play.
Two boys. Come on, Jimmy, give me that run.
And that's Andy right there. And I know that bothers some people, but he is a peer competitor.
Salas into the corner. This one, does it have the distance? Up to the wall, it does get out. And Resmondo is on the board for the first time. Salas with the 2-run home run.
Yeah, and then to go back to finish up with Connie there, I don't know under the limited home run rules if anyone's even had a season close to this, Bernie. I mean, I think it's in such a kind of epic standards when you're talking about winning the Triple Crown and winning it by so far on the RBI and the home run. And it was just an absolute incredible season.
Bubba Mack ground ball. Dennis Fisher. Oh, and Brett McCullum can't make the play, and Bubba Mack had a little collision there. They're going to tag him potentially. No, just help him out with his hat.
He tagged the bag in the ass. You can see he still gave him the.
2 gentlemen.
Awesome, Bob.
He got the bag. That's a situation where Brett McCullum came up as a middle. He's been an outfielder too, but he came up really as a middle infielder, third baseman. And a lot of people think you can just throw anybody at first base and it works, but a lot of footwork, a lot of work goes into being a really good first baseman. And I think Brett's, you know, a very adequate first baseman right now, but I think he'd be honest and tell you that he's still kind of working on his footwork and learning a position over there that wasn't something he played coming up through baseball and minor league baseball in college. And then the slow pitch, he definitely. It's something he's just transitioned to recently.
How about the performance by B.J. Falk in the last game? 3 home runs, a solo, a 2-run home run, a 3-run home run. Only missed a grand slam away from, I guess it would be a cycle, if you will, for
home runs. Yeah.
Home runs. I thought it might be a tough play. Lasky had it tracked the entire way. 3-2 Precision in the lead after 1 in the championship game. Nationwide Conference USSSA.
Get anything off. Gotta apply pressure every time. Guys, let's go. All right.
Let's go. 26 runs. Let's go. 26.
Welcome back. Well, it is another close one here at Osceola County Stadium as Precision leads Resmondo 3-2. Well, the Nationwide Conference USSSA is celebrating their 10th anniversary. When it first started, there was just 18 teams with 14 events. This year, we are up to 46 teams from 25 states with 23 events. To say the least, it has certainly grown over the years, and USSSA CEO Don DiDonatis expects to see more growth as we continue. Bernie?
Thank you, Kristen. And it is impressive to see the way that the conference has changed over the year for the first time after the regular season. Resmondo, they were not the regular season champion. They went to Smash It Sports, and they still have a chance that Smash It would be the #1 team at the championship. And there is still a little talk as you see Fisher with a sky-high pop-up here. It was a missed opportunity for Brett Helmer and company this weekend. You know, they did make it all the way to the losers bracket final, but this is a team that came in with everything on the line, a chance obviously to wrap up that #1 seed at the men's major, and they were playing very well this year.
Yeah, they have, and I don't think one stumble here doesn't change anything. They're going to be one of the favorites going into Disney, and that team, is an outstanding team, led by a great coach in Billy Messina, a Hall of Fame pitcher who's converted into one of the most outstanding coaches around. But yeah, I think it's a situation where they would have loved to have had that, have taken both parts of that, and they would like to have won the conference, because the only team that's won the regular season title, the conference title, and then won the major World Series in 1 year has been Resmondo. Resmondo hasn't won the World Series all of those 9 years. There's been a couple of stumbles, but I believe they've won 7 of the 9. The Dan Smith Combat team won the 08, and the Laser Vision team won 2 years ago. So they've won 7 of them, but still there's only been one team that's had a clean sweep. The #1 seed, the Disney, and the regular season, and I think Brett and Billy really wanted that.
It's Matt Rear at the top of the lineup. He flew out to right in his first plate appearance. Precision on the other hand, they're trying to become the first A team since Taija a couple of years ago to win this conference championship tournament. They're the only ones as an A team that have won this tournament.
Yeah, and that Taija team's a perfect example when you get that young talent blurred together. If you go back and look at that roster, Louis Rainier at shortstop, and that roster is making up a lot of the Smash It roster and some of the guys on the teams that are on the field today, and some other places.
Yeah.
Resmondo is going to come to the plate for the second time in the contest. It is a warm day, here. And we saw Resmondo with a lot of offensive power in that first game with the 9 home runs. Precision really getting it done with the singles. What type of game do you expect? Resmondo, they made some changes early on that really certainly helped propel them, but then finally the bats got going with the long ball.
Yeah, it did, and I think that one of the things that they've got advantage that they have is, they had Yates over there. They've been able to make a substitution this game into the lineup, put him out in the left field, and where you really see it in this big park is how wearing it can be on the outfielder. So, and the other thing, let's be honest, they're 7 out of the last 9 champions, nine times for 9 times, coming into this conference champions. They smell a little blood in the water. They see an opportunity not only to get the #1 seed, but make a statement to Smash It and to Shop and to Combat and the rest of the teams. Hey, the run's not over. We're here, and I think that was also stated by their whole sponsorship team is here this weekend. Travis has been in the park, and a lot of times he hasn't been able to with his businesses, and John Riccio, the specialty tank sponsor, the folks from Worth have all been here. So I think they're trying to send a statement that the run's not over. We've reloaded with some young players. A couple of them you may see on the screen right now, in Yates and Andrew Collins, and I think they're trying to send a statement, Bernie, that it still comes through us.
DiDonatis, Collins, and Yates here in the second inning. DiDonatis, the outstanding veteran, and then of course the 2 young guns right after him. DiDonatis Dinanis takes the first pitch for a ball. He's always had one of the best eyes at the plate and has been a player that's tried to get on board no matter what he could do to get there. He beats this one out at first, a tight play.
That's what he does. That's the great hustle right there out of June. And
take another look.
he's safe. I'd say he's safe. I don't know if he had control. He's sticking his hand in there with it, and I think he's safe. I think it's a good call. I don't like to agree with umpires very often. I'm not a big fan of theirs, but I think he got it right there. Yeah, that's Tony there out of Detroit, out of the Big D, holding down first base.
Well, Collins, last time at the plate, he had one of the longest home runs that we saw, carried 410 feet.
Our producer told us that umpires are necessary evils. I'm not sure about necessary, but I agree with the evil part.
It's caught over in the corner by Keith Lasky. He's moved over to right field. He tells you what a player and what a veteran he is on this team. He can play anywhere.
Yeah, and that's why I say they have. It's interesting because when people talk about precision, everybody, it's easy when you talk about Resmondo. You point out Andy Purcell, you point out Junior or Greg Cannell, you talk about the Laser Vision team. Everybody goes to, or the smashing teams. Everybody goes to Kirby. They go to Wegman. And you kind of go down that. Harvey with Shop and Flip Washington with Comet. When you talk about precision, it's interesting. Kind of everybody looks, God, they're all interchangeable. I mean, they almost look alike. Some of them, other than Big Stewie, a lot of similar body types, and they play the same way. And it's an interesting team, and I think it's a great concept that's been put together. I think we're going to see more of the conference teams look to build rosters. Some of this, I think you have to give credit to Bill Wax and to Todd Ackney about how they built this team. We talked about it last year at B when there were complaints, were they really a B team? Well, they only had, but yet they had no major players. They had everything. So it's definitely a formula, Bernie, that appears to be working.
Eisenhower into the corner. It's foul.
And I think as we saw baseball evolve, with money ball and stats ball and whatever the cliche you want to use it, where it's all stat driven. I think we're starting to see that now with softball, where the parks have to be bigger, the stats have to be bigger. There's big Don DiDonasso overlooking his dream 10 years later from the deck up there.
Yeah, Don DiDonasso, the chairman of the board and CEO of USSSA.
But I think we've seen evolutions and everything, and I think defense has become so important now. And limited home runs, has changed how rosters used to be built. You go back and look at the Steels teams and the Riches teams and the Lighthouse teams of the 90s and 80s. It was built on how many guys could hit 200 home runs a year and all of those things.
Sky high pop up here, and Lasky is going to have both outs here in the second inning.
Time 2, gentlemen.
Junior's going to tag and come in to score. That'll tie the contest up at 3 runs apiece.
Gates moves up to third, so the go-ahead run is 70 feet away for the Hall of Fame.
And for you, what's probably been the biggest thing that you've seen about this conference over the 10 years and how it's evolved?
Well, I think the biggest thing that I saw the difference is that when I first came up playing, and you weren't on one of those top teams, you maybe only saw the Riches and the Steels. You saw them once or twice a year. It was in a major somewhere. Maybe you were a West Coast, or what people say the regional teams. You only got to see them once or twice. You were a little bit in awe. And this big Howie Krause.
He had 2 home runs earlier, and why not start off this game with a home run here? A 2-run shot, and it's 5-3.
So you were in kind of awe for the first half of the tournament. There's Mike Masinko. There's the players of that era. You're over there. There's Dirk Androff, and you're swinging a bat with their name on it, but you only saw them a couple times. Now what's happened with this is, but these teams that have been in the conference, you're seeing each other every 2 weeks, and I think some of that's Andy Purcell's wore off a little bit. Not that he's still not the greatest pitcher of all time, but you've now faced him a bunch. You're traveling together. Kind of that awe factor has been a little bit removed from the game, and everybody looks at each other and wants to go out and win.
Dennis Rulli with a ground ball and some trouble on the infield. Matt Rear has moved over a couple steps to play short.
And Matt's a traditional third baseman, and obviously the need to put Lasky out into right field with, I think Robo probably wasn't able to go in right field to start this game, as we saw had a little piece on him earlier. Definitely changes their infield a little bit. But I think that's one of the big things, Bernie, is just that. And I think the sponsors now, too. You know, a lot of people talk about, I don't know, it's always the big two teams or the big, you know, this. Well, here we are looking at Precision and Resmondo playing in this game, so that's not really true. And the fact that Connie went for one and got one.
There is Greg Cannell. He had 133 of these on the regular season, and it does not come as a surprise that he hits one here.
And I think what, you know, a lot of the misconception of some of these people that talk about, you know, oh, it's so top heavy. Those sponsors want to build for that. They're fine with that. They don't want it to be handed to them. They don't want rules to change it. They want to build their programs and go chase these teams down. And I was actually looking at the Major League Baseball standings earlier this week. And so if you followed some philosophy saying, you know, everything's got to be equal, everyone deserves a participation award, you'd have to get rid of 3/4 of the teams in Major League Baseball because they're all playing 10, 15, 20, 30 games under 500 right now.
Purcell flew out in his first plate appearance, and amazingly enough, his bat is still in good shape.
And, you know, obviously you're a big Florida Gator guy. I don't think, you know, when Florida was on top, you know, you deserved it. When they stumbled a little bit, you didn't want the rules all changed to come back. You wanted your program to get better to come back.
Good pitch.
Better last night.
They looked good last night.
Jim McElwain, there is a fly ball by Andy Purcell. It'll end the inning, but a big one indeed. Resmondo, they are back on top as we move on to the third in the championship game of Nationwide Conference USSSA.
Come on, boys. Focus up now. Let's go. No more play for it. No more play for it. Come on now. Let's go, fellas. Pick it up, bro. Where he is. Dennis. 20 seconds. You want to stay there. Everybody's goal. You hit the ball. You try to get it through. You go. Is that better for you? Okay. You're all thrower. Get it up. I'm just thinking. Oh, no. Saving it. Hey, play our game. Play our game. Hustle out of the box. Draw. We're ready. Here we go. Great going forward right here to have a big inning. Let's go. I'll deal with the pain.
They're playing all around here at Osceola Heritage Park. Not only is there the major bracket as well, but the GSL A World Series going on. A berth to the men's major World Series is on the line.
Yeah, I believe I heard Broughton received that. Congratulations to them. They were the 17th team in points. They were one spot out to begin with, so it was awesome that a team that had worked that hard to get there earned it on the field this weekend. And then the 18th seed actually will go to the military champions. And I believe they're based out of Fort Lewis, Washington. That won it at the all-military, so congratulations to them. I think that was an awesome addition, Bernie, a couple years ago when we expanded the field to 18, and we were able to bring in a military team. Obviously, we wouldn't all be sitting here doing this without them, so I think that was one of the best things that that USSSA did.
Keith Lasky had some solid contact there, but he hit it right at Jeremy Yates. That'll bring up the veteran Brett McCullum. Take a look at this Precision team. This is a team that really, you know, based in Chicago, Illinois, they've kind of built it over the years from a team that was playing at the lower levels to, as you mentioned, the B World Series champions last year. A chance now for the A World Series this year as we see a base hit there that'll end a stretch of 5 in a row retired by Andy Purcell.
Yeah, they're a team that, like we said, they've built it, and they've been a firestorm, you know, around the old message board worlds and the other teams of, you know, last year were they really a B team because of everything they had going, and you know, this year were they an A team? Were they not a major team, especially after the run they made at the Smoky? But you know, they fit their roster within the rules. But again, they've just played so well that they've definitely created a little bit of a firestorm.
Davis Billardello singled his first time up. Precision It's still pretty early, but you're getting to the point where they could use some runs for sure. Already trailing Resmondo being the home team. A team that has as much offense as Resmondo is home, you feel no lead is safe, and obviously that means that you want to go in if you play the bottom of the 7th with a pretty sizable lead.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. And like I said, we saw that earlier where they almost got into, it was a close game and they almost got into the run rule. So, you know, it's definitely something that you've got to be concerned with them and keep them within striking distance all the time.
Popped up into left. Yates has it. Second out. And Kirkwood is retired, and that'll bring Kurt Stewart to the plate. Kurt Stewart singled his first time up. With that presence, checks into the box.
Fight!
Precision looking for their 5th run of the contest.
Come on, work, buddy.
Just found the inside quarter there.
Waits on it and cranks it over the head of DiDonatis and Rulli.
You see Big Stewie again right out of the box. Here the big man goes. There's absolutely, he is the kind of guy you want on your team. I think that is the guy right there you want to go play games with right there. You've seen it all day. Look at this, out of the box, he's thinking too. Right there, he's thinking, I'm going for it.
It's trucking, isn't he?
He is. I mean, I think you just got to respect the heck out of that. I mean, you love it. You love playing with a guy like that you know what he's going to do. That's a fun guy to play with right there.
Seth Bergmeyer doubled his first time up. Ground ball here gets under the glove of Cannell. And this for Precision, a little 2-out rally, a dose of Resmondo's medicine from the last game.
And that's what they've got to do, and it's a great job by them. You're again playing their game. Throw it here, throw it there, double, double, double.
Let's go. Throw it. 3-4 more hits. Here we go. Get it back to the top.
Jeff Keski is the batter. Precision as the tying run in scoring position here in the 3rd. Keski going for it all. Holds up, and it is easily taken. Retires his side. Precision down by a run. Resmondo leading here in this championship game. Winner takes all here. Precision trying to be the 3 seed at the Men's Major World Series. Resmondo looking to be the top seed. And our very own Kristen Bedard, let's check in with her down in the field.
Well, guys, in that last inning, we saw Jeremy Eisenhower switch bats, and it wasn't because that one was unlucky, it's because he broke his bat. As you can see here at the top of the K of the mic, and there is a visible crack in his bat. Now, according to USSSA rules, this bat must be taken out of play and handed to the tournament director. All game long, we've been seeing them pull bats out of a barrel behind us, and that's because each team is allowed to test 25 bats. 20 of them will be placed in the barrel. Now, guys, for USSSA, they're inspected before the start of the game for visible,
here we go.
The tournament for visible marks and the compression test. The magic number for USSSA is that 220 compression mark. Now, if a bat breaks in play, just like Eisenhower's did, they can test another one and re-enter it. However, if it breaks because a player slams it against the ground or a fence, they are not allowed to replace that bat. Bernie?
Well, and it's one of those things. We talked about the barrels and the bats, I think, when it was instituted a handful of years ago, and it was the store. We always were reminding people, there's the barrels, there's the bats, but it has been such a long part now, it seems like, of USSSA, that it's just knowledge that this is what happens before the game. Not only are the bats tested at the beginning of the tournament, oftentimes they're even tested again on a Sunday.
Yeah, and there's some random testing if the team's got a 3 or 4 game break, and they try to get grab 4 or 5 bats out of the buckets and randomly test them as well. So something that's definitely evolved, something that's different, but it's evolved with technology. So you know, it's it's ever evolving. I don't think we've seen how it'll final out. And there was some discussions this week down there. Hopefully that's just a cram of Big Jimmy Salas and not something worse than that.
It's been a long weekend. It was just an 8-team tournament, so they have certainly played in tournaments that have had more teams and more games than this one, but it's the end of the season.
Yep. And you're hoping to get to the finish line as healthy as possible. You're never 100% healthy this time of the year, but you're really trying to get, as healthy as you can and not have that catastrophic loss.
Bubba Mack is the batter.
Ball. Dismiss.
What are they looking for from a pitching perspective as you see Bubba Mack? This one, no doubt about it.
From Mr. Vitzek, I mean, he like we said, like, even heard Andy Brissell, and that's a pretty big compliment when a guy like Andy Brissell makes a comment. Hey, that guy knows how to pitch. Vitzek has come so far. He understands the game. But if you watch him and Andy a lot of time, you'll see him right now setting his defense. If we're watching him, he's moving this. He knows who the next batter is before that home run even landed out there. He was getting ready to pitch the next one. And it's like, you've got to study the game. You've got to sit out here and watch it. And I have pitchers come up to me all the time and say, what do I got to do? And I ask them how many times they sit and watch games, and I don't. That's what you need to sit and do. Sit and learn the players, learn the game, watch what other people do. So, you can see some similarities in how Vitzek approaches the game to what Purcell does.
That one scoots over. Keith Lasky climbs the wall, trying to bring it back. How about this day by B.J. Falk? He's got 4 home runs. Second of the inning. He knew it.
Yeah. There's no doubt about that. Little hat tip, gave you the Superman. Little shoulder tap, you got it all down. Got all the daps going today. After the 4th one, you got the routine down.
See, when it's a little bit cooler, everybody comes out after every home run and they go through their whole a day like today.
Good job. I'll sit over here. I see you working.
Do it from the bench.
And that's what Junior does. And people say, well, boy, that's a miss. He got lucky. No, that's not. Go take BP with him. He works on that backside dump as hard as home run hitters work on their home run. There's an art form right there. He's looking for that the whole way. You can see that he's literally, that is the swing he's looking for right there. Especially in stadiums, he becomes so much more deadly because that dump's so available to him.
Collins is the batter. He flew out in his first plate appearance.
I'm ready.
And he launches this one.
That's what you want.
It's going to be caught by Kirkwood.
No!
Giannatis will tag up and move to third. Finally, there's an out.
That's a little bit of bad course management from the youngster there. He got a lot of it, but you're trying to get out in a 400-foot part of the yard. It's just 330 down the line.
One here. Play.
Yates is to the plate. Trying to drive home Giannatis. Precision is trying to avoid that big inning. But Resmondo so far has scored in every inning of this contest. 2 in the first, 5 in the second, and 3 in the third. Ballpark should hold it, and it does. Lasky will track it down, and Giannatis will come in.
Time,
Long
2,
fly
gentlemen.
out.
Santana for Eisenhower. Todd, Santana for Izzy. Come on, Vince. 2 here.
Early substitution here, Nick Santana
for
Eisenhower, which again strengthens their defense by putting him back in. He's pinch hitting for Jeremy Eisenhower. Nick Santana, their normal center fielder, but you've got Yates and Santana, both outstanding center fielders.
Santana takes a cold strike. See the difference of the way these two teams produce their runs. Precision with 20 runs on 2 home runs. Resmondo with 36 runs on 24 home runs. They add 2 home runs, I should say, here in the third, and they lead 11-6 as we move on to the fourth.
Get more than 3. Get more than 3. Right now, let's go. Absolutely. Push. You're in here. That's it.
All right, here we go.
Let's do it like, it's not because I golf, like the drive, they'll do it when it lands and when it rolls, but here, like it doesn't.
Hey, get up in here. Get up in there. Let's go. Get up in there.
All over here. Let's go.
Your leader, pitch.
Top of the fourth inning. Precision needs a couple of runs here, trailing Resmondo 11-6.
Go hard from where?
Giannis was thinking about making that web gem. That one gets through. What does Precision need to do here?
They got to keep. Again, they don't have to get it all back. They want to play these games. They're used to being in these grinder games, Bernie. The 2-3 run to stay there. Throw up a great defensive inning and go steal a game. They understand this formula. Their formula that they can't come back from is when they get buried, like they did the last game, where all of a sudden the home runs get them and then they got to go chase 12, 14, 15 runs. That's not their strength. That's going to find the gap, I think.
That's trouble. Fisher is going to come in to score, and look at the wheels. Vidcat all the way into third. Certainly will change the perspective of the opposition if Vidcat can learn to be a great offensive player, because we've seen a lot of great pitchers in the day, but not everyone
very
can
few
hit
are,
like Andy Priscilla does.
There's honestly been very few that could, or you've had what we've called offensive pitchers who were hitters that have kind of tried to be pitchers, but they weren't great defensively, or they were in between. But the level of guys that could just flat out do on both sides is a very, very small list.
Come on, Maddie.
Matt Rear at the plate. Takes a cold strike.
Good nibble, just a little bit flat on the outside though. But foul, you're out.
And that will go as an out of the book. It's a big out. That's a pretty big mistake, especially when you have a runner on third, because even a deep fly ball would have scored the 8th run.
Right.
Would have been a little more productive, obviously.
And especially out of your leadoff hitter, and Matty's had a real good season. He's a real good player, so like we saw Rulli in the earlier game, even your leadoff hitters sometimes have a struggle. They just kind of ends up glaring because you're not expecting that at them, but that gets Matt off to an 0-for-3 start. Not something that they can afford right now.
Keith Lasky is at the plate. And he launches this one, sending Yates on the run, and he'll track it down. It's probably the biggest difference we've seen for Resmondo is they added all the speed in the outfield, and they are so good at tracking down.
And that's what you saw. I mean, and then we talked about, you know, the broadcast this morning. You see Yates here on the, you know, going back on it, the transition of the rosters, but it's also the transition of the players. At one point in time, they had the best defensive outfield in the game. Some said the best defensive outfield of all time. They had, you know, Rainwater, Kendricks, and Strebel out there, and you know, you had 3 center fielders. But there's one thing that I think we've all figured out over time is that Father Time is undefeated. He's like 1.7 trillion and 0, and he gets everybody. And they are great players and Hall of Fame players, but you know, when they swiped this outfield out for all this speed, all of a sudden Resmondo kind of came alive again.
Flat there. We move on to the bottom of the 4th. Resmondo leading 11-8.
You got the energy a little bit, boys. Come on. 3 has to use your play. Pick it up a little bit. Let's go. Get it 0. Let's go.
Welcome back to Osceola County Stadium. Joining me is Resmondo's manager, John Rector. Now, you've had a slow start to a handful of these games, but you're leading early in this one. What's been the difference?
I don't know if there's any difference. You know, the park play is different in the daytime.
You good, Andy?
You're not going to score as many runs right now as you would at night. And so it looks slow, but it's really not. Just how the ballpark plays during the day rather than at night.
Well, Precision is still lingering in this one, kind of hanging around. How do you shut them down?
Well, I mean, they're really good, man. You're not going to shut them down. The only thing you got to do is make every play. Every time the ball's hit at you, you got to make the play. You can't give them 4 outs in an inning, and that's how you shut it down.
All right, thank you so much, John. Back to you, Bernie.
Howie Krause will lead things up. He's got 3 home runs today. Precision, only 2 home runs as a team today.
Right. So, I mean, there's the glaring difference between the 2 teams. But like we said, Precision has also proved you can win in a lot of different ways. And you know, a lot of times people will say, you know, speed never goes away. Sometimes power does. As Coach Rector said there, you know, the park plays a little bit bigger. It's humid. It's hot. You can see Andy pitching it, trying to get to Howie on the outside there after as many home runs as he's hit.
Ball. Catch a miss.
Knocked down in the infield. Hey, Howie Krause beats it out. It's a tough play. Matt Rear had an opportunity, as did.
Take a look here. McCollum's questioning see what happens here, see if we can get a replay on it. I would say that's why I don't like umpires. I'll leave it to you guys to determine how you want to say that.
I know, but I thought I heard it stupid.
Yeah, it does look like he was out there.
Yeah. Bang bang play though, it's tough. Like I always think, as much as I don't like them, other than I should point out the third base umpire Ken Hawk, that's Tony there. Ken Hawk at third base is my favorite umpire. I've yet to ever see him make a bad call.
Could get 2 back here. They throw to second to get 1 back to first, and wow!
Time.
The veteran Ruley, this is not gymnastics, it's slow pitch softball. He rolls over the bag, and Dennis Fisher tries to grab it out. Here's another look.
Yeah, that's not a good way for anybody involved there. That's how 2 players get hurt. That's it's hustle all the way, and no malice intended there whatsoever. That's just great hustle all the way.
And Ruley's hip right into Fisher's back.
He needs to take this if he's going to play.
So you see the difference between these 2 teams, because Precision, they've really moved around their infield during the game.
Well, yeah, we even saw that.
Resmondo keeps everything pretty set.
Yeah, we even saw that there now with Fish over at first base.
Greg Cannell. Well, he knew it was coming when he was 0 for 3 in the first game.
Yeah, you knew the firestorm was coming right behind it. Here it comes.
base hit there. It gets under the glove of Jeff Kasky. They're on the corners.
And that's the thing with him right there. He just hits the ball so darn hard that you get a stab at it. You don't get 3 steps on his balls.
And base 9 for Canal. Dennis Ruley around the 3rd. Runner taking quarters with 1 out. In the box, the Hall of Fame pitcher Purcell.
Get out, let's go.
Play.
That'll bring Andy Purcell to the plate. Easy swing and single there.
And he's 3 for 3 for the day, I believe, in this game.
Time.
Still, even with that easy swing, the exit speed off the bat was still over 100 miles an hour. Came off the bat 104 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's it's a really big man swinging. And we're also playing with what they call the Stadium ZN here, the highest compression, hardest ball left that's manufactured. Again, because you're playing in stadiums and high humidity, it's a ball that's only used in stadiums. He missed that, but it still is going to go, I think. No? Yeah.
Gets out of here.
You see Jimmy Salas is cramping the whole way back to the dugout.
That helps you out, though. If you don't want to run the bases, you better have it leave the yard. You get a couple weeks off before the Men's Major World Series. That's the good news.
Yeah, he's going to want it. That flight back to SoCal tonight might be a tough one, though, or tomorrow morning.
Looking ahead to Disney coming up in the next couple of weeks, we will have the final 2 games. The winner's bracket final of the championship will be carried on CBS Sports Network. The rest of the games will be live streamed. Smash It won the regular season.
Time.
But right now, would you think Resmondo, Precision, Smash It, are those the big 3 that you're thinking?
I don't know. We said last year, we sat here and I said I think there'll be a different team get to the finals, and we saw that with Shop, and I really think that's the case here again. I think you can throw a blanket over. It's easy to say it's going to be Resmondo and Smash It because they faced each other so many times this year. But the stadiums, the things that we've seen here with Precision, the Shop team, the Combat team, I think there's a couple of other teams out there that are lurking on a really good scene. Who's had a huge roster turnover this year, but they were able to get a decent weekend this weekend. Knocking Smash It off on Friday night and kind of changing the course of this whole tournament. So I think, Bernie, it's not to be cliché, but I really think it's wide open there. I think. And the other thing is, I think the teams are so good, if they stumble early, it's hard to get back through. There's just no free games. So, yeah, I think chalky, you say, Resmondo plays Smash It and it goes to an if game. That's the chalky pick. But I just have a feeling this year, like I said last year, that they both wouldn't be there and there wasn't. It would not shock me if neither one of them was there this year.
It'll be the first time that the tournament ends on Saturday night. How will that affect things?
Well, I think there's 2 things for it. That's been discussed for a while. I think that's a great move by the USSSA management. The one thing about it is that it's the marquee. The finals is one of the marquee games of all of softball, if not the marquee game. Most would say it's the marquee game of the entire year. And it was played on Sunday morning when the park was basically empty because everything had wrapped up for the other tournaments. All that was left was a few teams. Saturday night, meanwhile, that park is packed. There's multiples of thousands of people there. I think it'll even be driven higher when they realize the championships will be played there. So I think from a schedule, players are used to it, like we saw here. Friday we had a rain delay. You're playing at 1 in the morning. You just play. You accept it. I think the exciting part for not only the players, but I think for a television audience with CBS is to hopefully see that park with 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people in it, Bernie.
That would be a spectacular thing. And the other thing is you see Collins go for a grand slam here.
He went to the really, really big part of the yard, though, is the problem.
We'll get a run on a sacrifice. As opposed to the championship game being at 11 a.m. as it was previously, obviously, without saying, unless it's a rainy day, it's going to be a real hot day.
Yep.
It's going to be played at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night.
The ball's
going to fly a lot further.
The ball flies real well there. Yeah, most of the time that 11 o'clock game on Sunday didn't get started till a little bit later. And then the other issue, we've been in that if game there where you're dead in the heat of the day. So I think the game will be a little, even though you say, well, guys are maybe a little more tired, I think it'll be a little bit better game. And I always think there's something a little more romantic about a game under the lights.
Yep.
So I think if it ends under the lights with a packed stadium, I think it'll be a good thing. a couple there for Yatesy. Drives in a couple more.
Time.
And I think the other thing that that's exciting about what's going on, Bernie, is that the week before that, I think you're going to live stream a bunch of it. USSSA, I believe, is what's carrying it. Is the weekend of the A Worlds, but also the weekend of that is the first annual Disney Women's Major World Series, which I believe you're picking up your toys and going there instead of the A World, which I think shows what a commitment that USSSA has made to the female athlete, not only with their support of the NPF, but with their support of the slow pitch game. And I'm so excited for that event. I think it's going to end up being one of the marquee events in all of softball.
Well, Precision, they're in a little bit of a pickle here. They're down by 10. They're going to need to score some runs because Resmondo's going to have a chance to win it potentially in the bottom of the 5th. 18 runs on 18 hits for Resmondo, 8 runs on 9 hits for Precision. A nice warm day for slow pitch softball.
Well, this is what we talk about. This is where the run rule comes in a little bit different than traditional baseball is they don't have to get them all back, but they need to get this down to where it's they need 3 to 4, or they're probably going to get left standing on the field, which is never a good feeling. You don't want to give Resmondo a chance to come in here and say, hey, we need 5 and end it, especially when they're not counting home runs. They can free swing away. And
Krista Bedard is down in the Precision dugout.
Well, Todd, it has been a long day. It has been a hot one. What is left in the Precision tank?
Man, we hope we have a lot left here. We dug ourselves a little bit of a hole against a great team over there. Chasing 10, but I do have confidence in our abilities. We have a strong team, as we're built on, so hopefully we can put a run together and put some pressure back on them.
Well, pressure is what you need to do. When the Resmondo bats heat up, they tend to be unstoppable, but what's the game plan for cooling them down?
Well, you said it. Their bats are unstoppable. You really have to make every play and can't give them any opportunities for extra outs. So, and for the most part, we've done that, but you really have to make every play and play perfect to beat them.
Well, that's what Precision wants to do.
That's right.
All right, we're ready.
So we'll
Here we
see
go,
what
gentlemen.
happens.
Thanks.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Krista.
Back up to Bernie.
All right, Precision. This is probably the spot that they need to score some runs for sure. Trailing by 10. They're going to have an opportunity.
Yep.
Resmondo looking to win this title for the 3rd consecutive year. And a bouncer there on the infield. Easily taken.
One, gentlemen.
And DiDonatis gets the first out. Retiring Davis Biladello. Precision, their leadoff batters today, just 1 for 5.
yeah, and like I said, the issue with them is they play the small ball game more. It's gap. So they need 3 or 4 or 5 hits strung together. Where we've seen Resmondo, making out, get a hit, 2 runs. With with the use of the home runs. The ball's gonna hang, I think. Yep.
Holds up.
2, gentlemen.
88 has it.
Just for Big Kurt, he is a great base hitter, as we've seen. He'll throw gap to gap and go. Sometimes you have to take a swing for the team right here. And if I'm him, I'm trying to bury this thing right now. Spark him a little bit, get a run. Even though it'd be a solo, don't want to be 1 run. It would be, you change the scoreboard a little bit, cut it down into single digits. So sometimes you just gotta dig that back foot in and see if you can put one on the other side for the team.
Play.
And that's what he tried to do. That's why he's a really good teammate. He even understood the situation that I got to go do something here. That's a really good teammate right there. Here, right now, he just realized it went. So that even though it's a point, you didn't go 0, and your big leader understood the situation and said, I got to go get us a point right now.
He's had a good day. Kurt Stewart is 3 for 3.
He's a really good player.
Play.
The only other guy I've ever really seen wearing 99 full-time is Dow Beggs, UTRIP Hall of Famer, and I think Dow would be proud of someone else wearing 99 that plays the game the way he does.
Grounded to DiDonatis across the diamond. Nice little pick there by Bubba Mack. Ends the inning. Resmondo, if they can score 6, they'll be the champions of Nationwide Conference USSSA.
Come on, find a way. Find a way. Right now, we need it. Find a way to give you.
you. Shut it down here. Get a 0, come back in and get a bunch. Let's go. A little steady. Got you. Yeah. Whoa.
Six runs.
Resmondo leading 18-9. Let's listen in to Andy Purcell moments ago as the top of the 5th came to its conclusion.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, 6, it's over. 6 and finish. Finish with 6 right now. Finish with 6. Finish right here. 6 runs. No need to play another inning. No need to play another inning. Finish with 6 here.
Out in the top.
Trying to make sure that he can get to his lunch plans, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that just, he gets it. Let's get out of here healthy. Let's tuck another one away. And you don't want to give a team like Precision an extra bat or two. You know, if you got a chance to end it, end it.
Here's Howie Kraus. Doesn't do anything but hit home runs. 3 home runs today. I tell you, he has been impressive. The veteran can still swing it.
Yeah, Moose can do anything he wants. He's just a great player. I said there's not much he hasn't accomplished in this sport, if anything. And he's, and like I say, he's one of the few guys that have been around. He's had 22 seasons where you won't find anyone say a bad word. You know, it's hard to have a guy that'll stick around that long, and everyone just respects you from beginning to end.
Draw the walk here. And that'll bring up the top of the lineup to Dennis Ruley. Been a little more active here in the 2nd game than they were earlier in game 1.
Dennis still really hasn't got going yet, though. I mean, he's had a lot of swings that weren't his swing. He might have runs it down.
Nice play out there and left. And Kraus will come back to the bag at first. I think that he thought that that one was going to get down, and he was more than halfway down the bag.
Nice job by Davis here to track it all the way, track it all the way, track it all the way. Helps being a left-hander in that position.
Nothing but smiles.
So if you would have given Precision, you know, that Dennis would make, you know, 5-6 outs here already, they would have, Precision would have taken that all day long. I thought they had these things stuck to it. So, uh-oh.
Greg Cannell leaves the yard for the 2nd time today. Not a bad day. Double home run, single home run, and he scored every time here in game number 2.
Well, he made 3 outs in the first game, and obviously his stats tells us he hits it. He doesn't do that, but, you know, 20% of the time. So he's drew for about our lineal math tells us 7 straight hits here, so he's not quite done yet.
That'll bring Andy Purcell to the plate.
Ball still heavy.
Come on, bitch. Come on, bitch.
So we're down to 4. They're counting them down over there. Oof, good swing.
That was caught over at 3rd by Matt Rear. Look at this grab. Wow.
He didn't get, I don't think he caught the ball. I think obviously, though, Matt's got a great arm, and I think he threw it out, but I think that skipped right into his hand if he looked at it again.
Come here, Andy. Come on, Andy.
Sounds
Out of play.
This one's going to drift out of play.
Davis is a big man out there in left field, and he has ran a ton today. You got to respect the kid, how he's gone, though, but he's a 6'5", 6'4".
Takes a while to stop the train, doesn't it?
Yeah, 240, 50-pound young man out there, but when you're still in your 20s, you're a wind-up toy, so I guess you just keep going.
Salas.
There's that ball back up the middle. I keep trying to talk you into going and pitching for a day, Bernie, so you can have a little better first-hand knowledge of it. You haven't taken me up on it yet.
I think that I'd be throwing a couple cookies, as they say.
And that goes right by you in a hurry, as you can tell. That's why I tell everybody, pitching's not for everyone.
Probably need a helmet and some body armor.
The wife may make you throw it from the car.
That's true.
Come on, Bubba.
You can get it over the plate from second, though, right? Bubba Mack has gone on board every time. The home run back in the third. Base hit back up the middle there. Salas to second. And here's B.J. Folk. He hit a solo home run back in the third. The weather hasn't affected these bats, that's for sure.
Nah, he's Beach is rolling.
So, got two here, boys, got two.
B.J. Falk with a line drive single, and they have loaded him up. 3 consecutive singles.
This is a big at-bat right here for June and for the Precision team, because lurking behind it is obviously some guys that can leave the building. So, you know, not that Junior can't get out of here, but that's not really his game. You know, not in the stadium, and his game's evolved over the years to where he plays more of the game, so more of the dunk game. And this is one of those moments where if Precision doesn't get him out, this game will probably end on the field here. And that's what he does.
Base hit for DeDonatis. 2 more will come in to score. And the championship winning run is at second after this 2 RBI double.
I would be shocked if they pitched to Collins there. I know he's made a couple outs, but you know, Todd's going to go out and talk about it. I think you got to set the forces up everywhere, even though Yates runs so well. To me, I'm going to make the lefty hit here.
Well, how about this? The last time that Collins was at this park in a tournament in the Hall of Fame Classic, the beginning tournament to mark the season, he had the walk-off winning home run in a 43-42 win over Smash It Sports.
Well, and he had it after, if you remember, that was his coming out. It was his first weekend with them, you know, joining the team, and he dropped the ball in left field, the routine ball. He just flat said he just doesn't even know what happened, dropped it. That looked like it was going to be the backbreaker, and then he turned around and hit the walk-off. But I just think Collins definitely has more power. Not that Yates and Santana got buggy whip lefty swings, but Collins is, you know.
And if I go at him, just go at him. Okay, don't. Then
That's fine.
Yep.
If you want to go after him, go at him, but don't be worried about walking him. So I think I honestly, you know, he may get lucky here and make it out, but I don't think I would even. I would just send him to first base and set the force up everywhere. Because the thing is, even with Junior, the base hit, it's over. He's scoring from second unless it's something freak happens on the play.
Collins checking into the box.
Yeah, that's the right call, I think.
It'll load him up.
That's the right call. He left it up to his Andy, and I think Andy's maturity took over right there, not his pride. He said, I'm better off putting him on first base and doing what I'm supposed to do here.
Here is Yates checking into the box. Base is loaded up. And bobbled on the infield, and they throw it over to McCullum. And that'll send us to another inning. Precision back to the plate. They hold on to live to see the 6th. 22-9, Resmondo on top in the championship.
Who we got up here? Who we got up, Mike? Mike, don't give up hope. We know what we got to do. We know what we got to do. Thanks everyone playing their game here.
Well, last night, the annual awards banquet for the Nationwide Conference USSSA was held. Of course, they gave out your first and second team, your MVPs, all the big awards, but a very special award they gave out is called the John Glidewell Award, and it's named after a special player who unfortunately left us too soon, but it's for character. It's about the person you are on and off the field, and this year's recipient went to Resmondo's Frank Webb. Now, Frank has been around the game for 40-plus years. He's been with Travis Resmondo for over 9 years, and this season, unfortunately, he found out that he is battling a form of cancer. He went through treatment, it came back. He's currently still fighting it. He told the team during the Chicago tournament, and it's just kind of been a rough time for them because he's been such a staple for this Resmondo team. Bernie.
Yeah, Frank Webb has been there every year for this Resmondo squad. He and his wife do such a big part of just helping with the day-to-day activities for Resmondo.
A lot goes into organization and travel, and Frank's obviously a good softball man too, an outstanding coach. But there's two sides of that story. One is the John Glidewell side of that story, who I spent I think a season and a half with. One of the nicest. Everybody says that's the nicest person you've ever met. He really is. He's one of those guys. Obviously, why the award was created. And I think it's assumed a level here. The guys that have won it, the past winners of the event, Vince Bisbee, Rick Baker, and Billy Messina. Some of the past recipients of it. It means a world to them. When you hear guys that are Hall of Fame caliber coaches and players that have won it, and Hall of Fame members, and tell you that's as important to them as it says a lot about what John Glidewell meant to the sport and meant as a person. And I think Frank Webb is one of the most deserving recipients of it. We've had a lot of battles, and he's told me to die on the field, and I've told him, not to. And actually, he probably never did tell me that. I just told him that. But he's just one of those guys that everybody ultimately respects. Really good guy. His wife is, mom to mom and grandma to a lot of the players' children that are on the team and travel with them. And obviously, I think everybody in softball, you stop and put it all in perspective, and everyone's got a lot of really, really good wishes for Mr. Webb, and we hope to see him around here another 10 or 15 or 20 seasons.
I'm just a dummy. You're smarter.
Well, Eddie Priscelli's retired 6 of the last 8 batters.
Play!
This one is clubbed into the corner. Is it playable? It is. Yates reaches up and hauls it in.
Time!
Look at this run.
Yates, he tracks it the whole way. Great play.
Play!
Popped up. Santana will grab it, and Resmondo another chance to win it in the bottom of the 6th, the conference championship.
Hope you give us a chance. How are you, sir?
(22-9).
Here we go, we're ready.
Resmondo trying to do it the hard way.
Yep.
I'm sure in the back of their minds they wish that they could have scored a run or two more yesterday in the winners bracket final.
Yeah, especially since went extra innings and they had the hammer. They were the home team. I mean, like I say, they had 3 shots at it to win it, needing a run and didn't get it. So that's why you have precision right now. That's why you never know what could happen. You keep hanging around. 2 runs ends it here, but if they can find a way to just get another at bat, you never know what can happen.
15 after 5 is the run rule. Nick Santana at the plate leading things off. That was a great stop on the infield, but Fisher cannot make the play, and Santana gets aboard to start things off.
Yeah, there's nothing you're going to do with that with his speed. Once you have to leave your feet, it's tough. The problem you got right now is the veterans wearing it out, and there he stands again.
Well, Corny from Worth tells me that he likes to hit it to the House Cat Lounge over at ESPN Wild World of Sports, and if you could hit one not to the House Cat because we're not at Disney here, you can hit it.
Yeah, the thing about Howie here, don't be surprised if he throws the ball in the right center field here. He's going to go where it's pitched and try to get a base hit and trust the guy behind him. He's the ultimate, you heard the precision team talk about trust each other. There's not a guy that trusts his teammates more and holds his teammates accountable as him.
Take a called strike on the plate.
The big issue here too, it'd be nice if you could find a way not to get to Cannell this inning, and because if you get to him, it means there's going to be somebody on base. There's your chance not to if you can turn the double play ball.
Rear goes around the diamond and turns the double play. Impressive performance there by the defense for precision.
Well, there's the first part that you needed. Here gives you the opportunity not to face. Yeah, and we talked about earlier, we saw, Howie in the first game.
He's going the whole way.
Whole way, 47-ish, whatever exactly how he is in there. He was giving you everything. And there's the veteran.
So Rulli with a base hit, and the first ever Triple Crown winner in conference history will come to the plate with a chance to win it now. Can Greg Cannell close it off here and make Resmondo the #1 seed at the Men's Major World Series?
If he did, it'd kind of be somewhat poetic justice for the season that he's had, Bernie.
4 for 4, and Resmondo is the champions, and they'll be the top seed at the Men's Major World Series. A 5-for-5 day for the Triple Crown winner, Greg Cannell. And how about Resmondo coming from behind to win this?
Sorry, ass up. Thank you.
24-9 the final.
The final 24-9. The hitting hero Greg Cannell 5 out of 5 with 6 RBIs. So congratulations to Resmondo. They not only win this conference championship, but they've now earned the #1 seed at the World Series for precision, decent, and outstanding tournament. The 8 teams stood toe-to-toe with the majors. They take Resmondo to the limit. They'll be at the World Series as the
Yeah, I think they did. Stop the go. I can tell you real quick.
both teams, and now with this conference championship concluded, Resmondo will collect this trophy, and then everyone will turn their attention.
There's the trophy. It's headed just down the road. It'll stay here in the Sunshine State and not make the trip to Illinois, as Resmondo is the conference champions. Kristen Bedard is down with Greg Cannell.
Well, Connie, storybook ending to the season. First conference USSSA Triple Crown winner, and then you had the big hit in this one. What has this season meant to you?
I mean, this season's been special, obviously. Winning the Triple Crown is a big feat. But there again, I mean, none of that would be possible without the team I've got around me. Our guys, I mean, they're bust their butt every weekend, and everything you do here is a team effort. So, it's just a great team to be a part of.
Well, with this tournament championship, you secure the #1 overall seed at the Men's Major World Series. What kind of advantage does that give Resmondo?
You know, I mean, as far as an advantage, I mean, you know, you get the later game time, so it helps a little bit. But as far as, you know, the parity in the game today, there's really no advantages anymore. I mean, every team you step on the field with is good.
All right, you have to go take a picture with your team. So I'll say thank you. Congratulations. Back to you, Bernie.
Yeah, I guess you cannot have a championship photo without Greg Cannell.
No,
Is that even possible?
Not possible. Not possible whatsoever.
Greg Cannell and Resmondo, they come from behind 3 consecutive years. They have won this title.
Yeah, it's an impressive way to come through. They would have liked to have done a little shorter route, but outstanding performance by him, and I think it was very, very poetic that Greg Cannell comes up there and whacks the one out that matters at the end.
Well, our coverage will begin the Men's Major World Series Wednesday on the 23rd, and Resmondo, they will be the #1 seed. How about that? With 1,715 points finishing it off. We still obviously have to add the totals to Smash It Sports.
Yeah, I think that's not to correct our stats, guys, but I've got the stats here. So yeah, there will be no change back, but they haven't added in their points for finishing 5th in this tournament. So the only seeds that will change in the top will be Resmondo, and Smash It will flip-flop. Resmondo's going to go to 1731. Smash It's going to go to 1681. So the shop and precision will stay the same along with combat. So the top 5 seeds will stay the same, and they will pair up and battle out. And the thing that will happen here, again, like we talked about earlier, is now Precision and Resmondo stay on the same side of the bracket, and they can maybe pick this rivalry up again in a couple of weeks.
Should be fantastic. Looking forward to the Men's Major World Series beginning on September 23rd. I know you are as well.
I am. Actually, I am. I'm like I said, there's a lot of softball to be played on some other stuff before that. It starts a great 3 weeks down here with the Women's Major and the D World that goes on along the A Worlds the weekend before. Then the Men's Major World Series starts, and also we don't want to forget the Sea Worlds and all levels of the Women's Worlds that are going on there at Disney that filled that park up with, I believe, about 1,200 teams over 3 weeks, with the E World coming at the end. So it's an amazing amount of softball played here in Florida that period of time, and it's a great experience for anyone that's got to enjoy it.
Well, we're looking forward to it. We'll have the coverage on USSSAlive.com beginning September 23rd, and of course on the 26th, the winner's bracket final, the championship, will be broadcasted on the CBS Sports Network. For Don Cooper, Kristen Bedard, and our entire crew, Bernie Gunther saying so long. Resmondo, they're the champions of Nationwide Conference USSSA, a 24-9 win over Precision. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for the Men's Major World Series.